Government initiatives are set to support Dubai's real estate market this year. That's according to a new report. To tell us more about the factors affecting the property market in 2020, we have Nicholas McLean, who is Managing Director at CBRE Middle East. He's with us here in the studio. Nicholas, great to have you back with us.
Thank you.
Can you explain then how these new government initiatives are actually affecting the property sector here in Dubai?
I think the property sector is so very important to the economy of the UAE and Dubai. The government has always been prepared to intervene positively to maintain the momentum in the sector and to stop it overheating. And so most recently we've seen the creation of a committee for real estate looking at the supply and demand components of the marketplace. Historically, we've had changes to the loan-to-value ratios and the creation, most importantly, of RERA. And I think now, with the momentum which is growing towards Expo, there's an important monitoring process which the government is prepared to do and intervene if necessary. I'm not saying they will, but they are prepared to intervene if necessary now.
How are the current supply and demand figures looking for 2020?
Supply is still extremely strong coming into the market across all sectors, particularly in the residential sector. Something in the region of more than 100,000 units are scheduled for delivery between now and the end of 2023. The office market is stabilising with additional supply, and there's more than 120 or so thousand new units coming into the hospitality sector. So supply is very strong. But what we also see is good growth in the demand component of the equation at the moment, particularly amongst the international corporate demand going forward.
What about the office leasing sector? Interesting, in your report you mentioned, the way the workflow is going is different. Also the way, the offices are sort of delivered for people working, and their well-being is very important now, isn't it?
Yeah, and the office sector is almost the most exciting component of the market at the moment, because what we see is a fundamentally different way in which occupiers, particularly the international corporates, are occupying their space at the moment. The good news for landlords is they're not demanding less space, they're just using it in a very different way. And part of the reasoning for that is to the retention of staff. The labour pool relative to the rest of the region is very strong here, but it's very important that continuity in staffing continues, and that means that landlords have to create, and occupiers have to create, an environment whereby the staff are extremely happy.
What kind of effect is Expo 2020 going to have? How important is it for the market this year and into next?
I think it's going to be extremely important. It's important because of the 25 million or so people who are proposing to come, expected to come. A large proportion of that will be people who've never seen this country before or been introduced to the region before. And a fair proportion of those people, I think, once they've seen it, will come to create businesses or relocate their headquarters or buy and invest in this location. So I think, as an advert for what Dubai has achieved over the last 40 years, it's going to be very important.
For your latest report, were there any particular findings that stood out for you as being something we should be focusing on in the next 12 months?
I think we survey all of the occupiers within this marketplace very carefully, and what they tell us is that the integration of the economy of Dubai is the single most important factor of their choice to be here. The aviation sector, the depth of the labour pool, the quality of the buildings here. So all those factors together, it's not just one component, mean that this is the location first and foremost within the GCC to occupy space going forward.
Always a pleasure to have you on the programme, Nicholas McLean. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.